Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today on the Healthy Olive channel. On today's video, I'll be discussing what an empty calorie is. And if you didn't watch my previous video, which talked about how to tell if a food is unhealthy, I meant to provide this information in there for you, but unhealthy calories or empty calories do deserve their own video, so I'll go ahead and discuss what they are. Before I begin the video, I want to tell you what the definition of an empty calorie is. And it's a lot easier than how some people might explain it to you. But simply put, an empty calorie is a calorie that has no nutrients in it. In other words, the macronutrients, or the fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, which are the macronutrients, that give the food its calories. Well, those macronutrients don't have micronutrients in them. And those micronutrients are vitamins and minerals and things like fiber or calcium. All of those are nutrients. And every nutrient, at least the healthy nutrients, your body utilizes to perform at its best self. And with empty calories, without those nutrients, your body is consuming calories with really no benefit. In fact, if you consume empty calories, your body actually uses nutrients that it already has to digest those. So it's really a negative gain. Now, what foods contain empty calories? It's pretty easy to tell which foods contain empty calories. Sodas, candy, really processed foods, and I would say fried foods as well, although I'll talk about fried foods in another video. But anything that has a lot of sugar or refined carbohydrates, trans fats, or excessive saturated fats, anything that really provides very little to no nutrition, those are empty calories. And it isn't easy to consume foods that contain a lot of nutrients in them anyways. Especially when most of us, I would say, are on the go, and if you live in America, you know what I mean. But with the constant presence of unhealthy foods that unfortunately usually don't have a lot of nutrition in them, how are we able to juggle that? Well, I have some solutions you can follow if you want to avoid empty calories as much as you can. Fast food restaurants, I would say most of the time, don't provide the most nutrient beneficial food. So if you work in an area that has healthy options to choose from, in other words, if you are in a workplace and they have food provided for you, try and choose the healthiest option. It doesn't have to be a salad. And my next solution is to meal prep or prepare your food the next day before you go out. And this in and of itself takes some planning, so it's important to plan your schedule a day before. That way you'll be able to know what you're doing. And those would be my solutions if you're trying to avoid empty calories. If there is a food space in your workplace, try to eat the food there. But if the food isn't healthy there, then I would meal prep. And that's really the only solution I have, is to meal prep, purchase the food that's healthiest, since most of the time foods offered to people, especially in restaurants and fast foods, aren't the healthiest. And unfortunately, empty calories can be contained in those foods, which, as I stated earlier, is simply foods containing no nutrients, no vitamins or minerals. And empty calories have been linked to obesity and other diseases, and I'll link these studies in the description below. But it's important just to avoid them in general. It doesn't have to be an off limits off your diet. It's just something you consume consume less than the more beneficial foods. Just like with anything and everything, it's what you do 90% of the time, not 10% of the time, that makes a difference. Having that said, I hope you learned something new about empty calories. Thank you for stopping by, and as always, take care.